Hi everyone, this is Kanimozhi, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Kamadin Arts and Science College, Satyamangalam. In this video lecture, we are going to see about active voice and passive voice. Let us see the introduction. Voice. Voice is the way which you choose to say something or express something. In English grammar, voice is a form of verb which indicates the relationship between the participant and the event in the sentence. That is, subject and object in the sentence. Active voice, passive voice is used to describe whether the verb is in active voice or passive voice. Let us see the types of voices. There are two types of voices in English language. They are active voice and passive voice. Let us see what is active voice. Active voice means if you want to say something in a strong manner, direct manner, clear manner or concise or to the point, that comes under active voice. For example, I am taking the class. In active voice, noun or pronoun acts as a subject. Here, subject is the doer of the action. In active voice, subject is the doer of the action. The rules for active voice is subject, verb, object. This is the pattern for active voice. Then passive voice. If you want to say something in a neutral manner or if you want to be an observer or bystander, that comes under passive voice. For example, the class is being taken by me. In passive voice, subject receives the action. In other words, object is the doer of the action. The pattern of this passive voice is object, verb, subject. This is the passive voice form. Let us see the rules for converting active voice to passive voice. First one, whatever may be the sentence, the meaning should not be changed while transforming from active to passive or passive to active. Then we have to interchange the subject and object in the sentence. Then we have to change the pronouns from active to passive. If I is in active voice, we have to change it as me in passive form. We as us, he, she, it becomes him, her, it, they becomes them in passive form. Then action word in the sentence should be changed into V3 form, that is past participle form. V1 is present tense, V2 is past tense, V3 is past participle form. Then we have to introduce auxiliary verb in passive form. Then we have to add being in continuous tense, we have to add being in perfect tense, and we have to introduce by in passive form. There is no passive form for no 4 tenses in English. These are the rules for converting the sentence. Let us see the example. First one, simple present tense. If the sentence is in simple present tense, these are the pattern of the form. Am, is, are plus V3 form. For example, I write a letter is in simple present tense. When you are changing this sentence into passive voice, a letter becomes first in passive form. Then we are introducing an auxiliary verb here is then V3 form. Write, wrote, written. Written is V3 form. Then we are introducing by here. Then I becomes me in passive form. This is the change of conversion from active to passive form. Then second one is simple past tense. This rules is was or were plus V3 form. For example, I wrote a letter. A letter was written by me. Then simple future tense. This pattern is will or shall plus be plus V3 form. For example, I will write a letter. In passive form, a letter becomes first, then will as it is, then we are introducing be for future tense, then V3 form is written, then we are introducing by for passive form, then I becomes me. So a letter will be written by me. This is simple future tense conversion. Then present continuous tense. This pattern is am, is, or plus being plus V3 form. Already we have seen in the rules that for continuous tense we have to add being in passive form. For example, I am writing a letter, then auxiliary verb is, then being, then V3 form written, then by, then me. A letter is being written by me. Then past continuous tense, was or were plus being plus V3 form. I am writing a letter. A letter was being written by me. This is past continuous tense, passive form. Then future continuous tense. Already I told in the rules, that is 4 tenses does not have passive form. First one is future continuous tense does not have passive form. Then 7th one is present perfect tense. In that pattern is have or has plus been plus V3 form. I have written a letter. A letter becomes first, then has, then been written by me in passive form. Then past perfect tense, had plus been plus V3. I had written a letter. That is, a letter had been written by me. Already I told you in the rules that we have to add been for perfect tense. So a letter had been written by me for passive form in past perfect tense. Then future perfect tense, will or shall plus have plus been plus V3 form. For example, I have written a letter. A letter will have been written by me in passive form. Then 10th one is present perfect tense, that does not have no passive form. Past perfect continuous tense does not have passive form. Future perfect continuous tense has no passive form. Then last one is modal auxiliaries. Modal auxiliary pattern is modal auxiliary plus B plus V3. I can write a letter. A letter can be written by me. This is the pattern for modal auxiliary. These are the examples for the tenses in English for active to passive form. Then conclusion. Active and passive voices are determined by the relationship of the subject and verb in a sentence. If the subject is the doer of the action, it is called as active voice. If the subject is the recipient of the action, it is passive voice. These are the active and passive voice in English language. Thank you.